Hey guys, it's Kim here, and once again I'm joined by Becky, and today we are doing Halloween spooky crafts. Ooh. Take it away, Becky.
We're going to make little hollow ghost sculptures. So they were a suggestion in Discord, and I've wanted to make them for a while, but this is a complete experiment, so it could go wrong, so bear with me. But yeah, we're going to make little hollow sitting ghosts. They're great for bookends and things, and they just look really cool.
They're kind of going to look like this fellow underneath me. But
not as big and not as good. I don't know. We'll see.
She said. But this, obviously, we're not making this because this is an actual sculpture somewhere in the world. Where did you say?
It's in Prague.
Prague. Okay. Yeah, we're not actually making a metal sculpture that's sitting in the city centre in Prague, but this is kind of what it's going to look like as a visual representation, as inspiration. So that's what we're going for. I say we, I mean Becky. What is your materials list?
So some sort of material, packing paper, bubble wrap, similar to Totoro and paper mache, like something to create a shape. So I've got packing paper, but you could use foil or bubble wrap or anything. I've got some masking tape to kind of hold that all together. You will need some cling film, some form of box to sit your sculpture on so he's sitting. It can be cardboard, but if it's plastic, you don't have to cover it with cling film. What else? I'm going to be using Powertex.
What?
Because it's a thing. I'm going to be using Powertex, but this is just because I wanted an excuse to try this stuff out. But you could use PVA glue, or if you made like a clay slurry, you could use clay. You could use anything that basically starts as a liquidy thing, can have stuff dunked in it, and turns solid. Will work for this. Okay. They'll all give slightly different effects, but like anything that's kind of put stuff in, goes solid, detaches from plastic, will work.
So cement?
Yeah. You're going to need to have a really sturdy structure underneath, so probably go with tinfoil if you're using cement.
Cool. What about
But yeah, I've
chocolate?
seen these made out of cement. Yeah. If you want to make a chocolate one, although we're going to put like fabric in it, so if you want to make a chocolate edible one, use rice paper. Box, some form of structural material, cling film, glue, fabric. That's all we're going to use. Paint at the end, but actually if you get a nice fabric, you might just leave it as looking like fabric. You might not need a paint.
What about like lovely dirty stained fabric,
that would look really... Yeah, so like fabric offcuts, scraps would be really good for this, like, that old towel or pillow or whatever that you've been meaning to get rid of for years. That could be turned into one of these. Like this is more of an at-home craft again. We're going for lockdown crafts as we're going back into lockdown. And the only reason I've bought Powertex is because it's been like, they're a brand, they do a lot of interesting like finishes and things, and I've wanted to try it for a while, so it was just a good excuse for me.
Okay.
Also, I'm running out of PVA, so I either had to buy PVA or Powertex, and I took the opportunity to buy something cool. So I'm constructing a little ghost.
How does one do that?
Basically, I'm going to construct a figure shape out of my packing material. So I'm going to construct a little head, a little body, some arms and some legs, and sit him on the box.
Cool.
And I'm just scrunching and then taping around to keep the shape. And that's it. And yeah, you could use any material for this, like we did with Totoro. I mean, Totoro was a lot of bubble wrap because that's what I had at the time. I've got some packing paper now, so that's what we're using. But yeah, tinfoil, egg boxes. You could like properly cut cardboard and construct it. Like however you want to do this, fine. It'll work. This is just forming like the base shape. This is not kind of what stuff's going to look like at the end. So this is my little sitting person.
Hey, it's creepy and I hate it.
Yeah, of course you do. That's what it's meant to be. It's meant to be a little creepster. So I'm going to sit this on the box and I'm going to cover it with cling film. Because if I don't, in the same way that, if you stick PVA to things, basically the cling film will stop it sticking, and then I can remove the ghost and take the stuff out from inside, and I'll just have a little hollow ghost. So yeah, you've got to kind of, you know.
So when you make this, do you have to make the whole body, like the arms and the legs and everything, or could you just have an amorphous blob?
You could do an amorphous blob. You could do anything. You could do, you know, a ghost dog or anything. But yeah, I want a little guy. And yeah, you
Cool.
could do whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
So what are you gonna do next?
Cover him with cling film.
Okay. Get on that.
Get on that, and we can chat random crap again.
So this has been pointed out in chat. We should call this little guy Christopher. Christopher. I absolutely want you to send me a picture of this at the end so I can send it to Trot and tell him that we called it Christopher. Christopher. So in covering it with cling film, is it literally just one layer over the whole thing? Because you know me, if I was to do this, I'd end up covering it in about 50 different layers, and then it would be
I'm going to cover it in quite a few different layers.
Okay.
The important thing is to cover all the paper and get the shapes and detail. So I'm going to use, I've done one piece and it's gone sort of around his head. But yeah, when you apply like your fabric, you'll get a weight to it. So it will like go in to the shapes and you can push in to get the detail. But yeah, you don't want any paper showing because that will stick to what you're going to cover it to, and then you won't end up with a hollow ghost. You'll end up with a ghost with stuff inside. Okay. Here's a little guy covered with cling film.
Oh, great. So he doesn't get all greasy.
Yeah, so that's the next step, and we'll set him on his box and we'll cover him in a minute with fabric. So we're going to need some fabric. I've got a couple of options. I've got like this blue see-through chiffon, which I'm not sure I'm going to use because it's a bit see-through. I have my go-to jersey scrap, which I like, but it doesn't really have a texture to it. So I was thinking I might use some of this this grey linen because it's got a nice kind of texture to it, and I think if you painted it, it would go a bit like ratty and fun. So also because I've had this linen for ages and I've never actually done anything with it, and it's very nice. So I'm going to turn it into a creepy ass ghost because that's how we work. So we want this to drape sort of round him, which probably means I need about that much. I'm completely just eyeballing this, so yes, you know, do as I say, not as I do. But yeah, about that much squared, I reckon. What's that? Where's my tape measure? Nowhere near here, of course. Yeah, about that. Let's cut. Anyone who's a sewer or fabric smith in the chat is now freaking out of the way. I'm terrible about cutting linen. I'm gonna tear this though. Give it a nice soft edge. Note play saying measure twice, cut once. Yeah, just don't measure. Just wing it. I don't measure shit. I sometimes do. That's a complete lie if I'm doing something precise. But this is very drapey and free, so it feels a lot easier to kind of just wing it. It's a good piece. That's a huge piece of linen. That's definitely going to fit over our little guy. I can probably cut some bits off that. So you could cut this like when it's on, but you can definitely cut down a bit. Like that is definitely too much along the end there. He's swamped. But you do want to like end at the feet a bit, otherwise you'll be going flat onto your surface. I should probably cover my surface with some cling film just so nothing sticks to that. So I've poured my Powertex universal medium, which is what I've got.
What can you use if you don't have Powertex?
PVA glue, clay, cement,
chocolate.
We've talked about chocolate. Something that starts soft, you can soak a fabric in it and it will dry hard. That's what you're aiming for. I'm sorry that I'm blinking a lot, but I've got a tickle in my nose.
Today, aren't you?
I have suddenly gone there. Something's gone up my nose and it's aggravated things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you need your piece of fabric that fits over your guy, or your girl, or your creature, or whatever you're creating. Aha. Okay, and the idea is we're going to take this, we're going to put it in that, and we're going to fully saturate it.
Okay.
So.
Oh.
Now for this, I'm using gloves because Powertex has recommended using gloves. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there's anything toxic to it. I think it could just be a skin irritant.
Yeah. Well, it could just be good if you're using PVA glue just to cover your hands anyway, just in case.
Yeah. Also, like this is messy as hell. So actually, yeah, covering Putting gloves on is helpful. Okay, so this is my linen now soaked in medium.
Soaked in goo. Soaked in
Soaked in
ectoplasm.
goo, soaked in ectoplasm, and we're gonna just start draping this around our Christopher.
Mm.
So I'm just like, with this fabric and this medium, I'm just kind of sculpting it round my shape. It's really hard to show you because I don't want to like disjog it, but this is what we're ending up with.
You need to hold him down a bit more.
I can't.
There you go. We can see his head there.
So this is what we're getting.
Nice. Yeah,
and
good.
Then when it's dry, we'll pull the creature out, pull Christopher out, and there will just be this fabric left, but it will be solid. So it's probably not going to solidify today, because it does take a little bit of time, at least overnight.
You can't say pull Christopher out.
Sorry.
You can't say that.
Sorry.
So the plastic box is not actually a part of the craft. It's just for you to sit him on it.
Well, this way he will sit like he'd be able to perch on like a bookshelf or something. If you don't put him on a plastic box, the weight of the fabric in whatever you're using as your medium will just kind of probably collapse your sculpture, and he won't have that nice sitting shape.
Yeah. So if you're using cardboard as well, obviously cover your cardboard in cling film so you can slide that bad boy off.
Yeah, I haven't covered this just because it's a plastic box, so it does. But yeah, like a takeaway box or something would work perfectly for this.
So is there anything else you could do if you wanted to, I don't know, take it further? Like, could we get electronics involved?
You could put a light inside his head, definitely.
So he glows?
If you wanted to be, you can make him glow. If you use like a more see-through fabric, like I showed the chiffon earlier, then you could properly make a glowing one. So yeah, I mean, also like if you were paper macheing this or something, if you didn't have fabric and you wanted to do one, you could paper mache with newsprint or tissue paper, and you'd get a see-through finish. You could have LED eyes, like red glowing eyes. You could, if you wanted to be really fancy, you could get a proximity sensor, put it inside and have it light up or make noise when someone went past.
Nice. You could fit a sound box for it to scream. You absolutely could, Tim. You know.
Yeah. This is very much, again, another one of those, I'm giving you the basic building blocks, now let your imaginations run wild.
What if you want to keep the little dude in there? I guess it's creepier when it's out, isn't it?
You can keep the little dude in there. I mean, with the dude out, it will have that exact same shape, but it will be hollow.
Yeah.
So it's just that kind of, it depends what effect you want. But yeah, you could put something else in there. There could be something else sitting inside. If someone mentioned kids' dolls, if you've got kids' dolls, you could paint a creepy like zombie doll, and have this round your zombie doll. Like, this is really base sculpturing. Go have fun, guys.
And if you want it to be like not spooky, you could absolutely make this the Journey, the little creatures from Journey. Anything with a kind of clothy texture, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably go make all sorts of stuff this way. Like, it's almost a way of, I guess, sculpting, but quite simply from at-home materials. Yeah, so yeah, this is Rosewitch saying, I love how the medium you've dropped in the fabric is meant that the folds of the fabric are holding.
Yeah,
that's the idea of this, is that really it holds the shape. And yeah, it should work, with PVA. I think you might just have to manipulate it a bit longer till it kind of starts to dry a bit. Like this is quite tacky quite quickly and then dries very slowly. So this will hold that shape until it's dry. PVA or something, a clay pulp, you might just have to like keep manipulating it until it starts to kind of get stiff.
Pixie says, can you paint it maybe with spray paint?
Absolutely, you could paint this with anything. You could paint it with glow-in-the-dark paint if you wanted to.
That's what I was thinking,
you could have this little glow-in-the-dark thing in the corner.
Seventh Chevron Locked says, ooh, paint the folds with glow-in-the-dark paint for creepiness. I'm a big fan.
Or like we were talking last week of like with the potion bottles, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, running glue gun drips down to look like wax. You could also run glue glue gun bits down, paint the bread to look like dripping blood. These are really quick to do, and like waiting for them to dry is going to be the main time that you actually spend. But yeah, you could make a whole family of them, or you can make, you know, a couple of bookends. If you put like a bit of weight in them, that will hold, or if you're doing them out of clay or concrete, they'll hold as bookends.
Milo.
Oh,
Pickle.
Ken.